Fairfax County, Virginia is beautiful. A lot of trees, a lot of space. It's suburban. But everyone's asking, why is Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard here in Fairfax County? Johnny's not from here. Amber's not from here. Well, it all goes back to the op-ed that was written by Amber Heard. It was published in the Washington Post. But we're not in Washington either. We're not in Washington, D.C. But the Washington Post is printed and published. States is where they print the Washington Post. Also, the online version of the Washington Post is published on servers in Fairfax County. All right, that's why we're here. That's why we're in Fairfax County. And what's really interesting is the location, the venue, the jurisdiction of this case came up during the opening statements by Amber Heard's attorney. Take a listen.
Depp didn't sue the Washington Post. He had no interest in doing that. He only sued Amber. He could have sued the Washington Post. They published the article, but he didn't. And he chose to bring Amber to court here in Virginia, where she has no ties, has never lived, he's never lived, where they never spent any time, because he wanted to make her life hard. He wanted to ruin her life. He wanted to destroy her.
Yeah, that Johnny Depp is trying to ruin Amber Heard's life by making her come to Fairfax County, Virginia. Let's bring back in our think tank. Struck me kind of interesting what happened there. Michael Sterling, Ann Bremner, Rick King still with us. Rick, what are your thoughts about that? Is it cruel and unusual punishment to send someone from Hollywood to Fairfax County, Virginia?
No, I don't really think so. But apparently, he made a tactical decision about what he was going to talk about. You know, there's probably other reasons why they chose Fairfax, other than just not going to D.C. or choosing another venue where they both had some sort of ties to. There's some laws in Virginia that allow these defamation type cases to come a little easier. They have anti-SLAPP laws in Virginia, which allow someone to bring someone. Ordinarily, you couldn't bring a case. It would be barred by because of the First Amendment or because of it's a case about something about public concern. But in this case, in Virginia, those laws allow you to bring it. And so easier to bring the case there, easier to get it through, and that's why they chose that.
Okay, but still, I'm wondering if I'm on that jury and you're saying, wait a minute, is it torture to come to my home county? Is it really that bad? It's actually very beautiful here.
That's what I understand
in Fairfax County.
Fairfax.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It's really nice. So let's take a listen now, because I want to get to the heart of this lawsuit, which is it's all about this op-ed that was written by Amber Heard. And in their opening statement, Amber Heard's attorneys read the whole thing to the jury. So I'm going to play for you some of it. I don't have time to play the whole thing for you. But this, again, is the attorney reading it. And what they are claiming is that, number one, they never mentioned Johnny Depp, and it's not about Johnny Depp. Let's watch.
I was exposed to abuse at a very young age. I knew certain things early on without ever having to be told. I knew that men have the power, physically, socially, and financially, and that a lot of institutions support that arrangement. I knew this long before I had the words to articulate it, and I bet you learned it young too. Like many women, I had been harassed and sexually assaulted by the time I was of college age, but I kept quiet. I did not expect filing complaints to bring justice, and I didn't see myself as a victim. Then, 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. Imagine a powerful man as a ship, like the Titanic. That ship is a huge enterprise. When it strikes an iceberg, there are a lot of people on board desperate to patch up holes, not because they believe in or even care about the ship, but because their own fates depend on the enterprise. In recent years, the Me Too movement has taught us about how power like this works, not just in Hollywood, but in all kinds of institutions, workplaces, places of worship, or simply in particular communities. In every walk of life, women are confronting these men who are buoyed by social, economic, and cultural power, and these institutions are beginning to change. I write this as a woman who had to change my phone number weekly because I was getting death threats. For months, I rarely left my apartment. And when I did, I was pursued by camera drones and photographers on foot, on motorcycles and in cars. Tabloid outlets that posted pictures of me spun them in a negative light. I felt as though I was on trial in the court of public opinion, and my life and livelihood depended on myriad judgments far beyond my control. I want to ensure that women who come forward to talk about violence receive more support. We are electing representatives who know how deeply we care about these issues. We can work together to demand changes to laws and rules and social norms, and to right the imbalances that have shaped our lives.
Well written, very thought. I want you to presume that Johnny Depp never, ever, ever abused Amber Heard. What we just heard, would that constitute defamation against Johnny Heard? Is he defamed in what we just heard?
If he never abused her? Yes.
Presume that he never abused her, and that you still believe that that is a defamatory statement. Tell me why.
Well, it's defamation by implication. I mean, it's basically a classic case of that, where she's already been public in the UK case against the Sun, where she testified on behalf of the Sun saying he was a quote-unquote wife beater, which is what they published. And of course, Depp lost that case. So it seems to me, when she comes out and says, I've been a victim, I've been stalked, I've had all these people, come after me, now I'm part of Me Too, and we need this kind of support, which I applaud. I mean, we all do. Let's support domestic violence victims. Let's make sure that people aren't victimized, that people aren't brutalized, that they're not ostracized. But what she's also saying, who else would it be except for Johnny Depp that she's talking about in this op-ed piece in the Washington Post? Therefore, it's defamation, at least from his vantage point.
Michael Sterling, in the opening statement, very clear from Amber Heard's attorneys. They said this op-ed was not about Johnny Depp. He's not even mentioned in it. Your thoughts about what we heard?
And Vinny, I'll be honest with you, I'm having deja vu from a lawsuit I filed several years ago against Simon & Schuster and Tiffany Haddish and her ghost writer. It's almost deja vu. She wrote a chapter called The Ex-Husband, where she never mentioned my client by name, but obviously she only had one ex-husband. That's public record. So, the defamation laws are such that you don't have to mention the person by name, but if your implication is so clear as to identify the person, which I think allegations is clearly identifying him, that despite the fact you're saying it's not about him, if you've identified him through circumstantial information and circumstantial evidence, which we know the jury's going to be instructed is as good as direct evidence, then the fact of the matter is, if your assumption, Vinny, is correct that he never abused her, then this is in fact defamation, because she has sufficiently identified him through the circumstances she describes in that op-ed.
Folks, that's why we bring these guests in. I mean, the experience, the insight is unparalleled in legal journalism. Thanks so much. They're going to stay with us. Michael Sterling, Ann Bremner, Rick King. When we come back, there's a lot of other stories happening on Court TV. We've got like 3 other trials happening. We're going to get an update on all of that from Joy Lim Nakrin when we come back.